Hello, this is Sarah Morrison. I'm the Executive Director of LexHAB, the Lexington Housing Assistance Board, and I'm going to be talking about warrant article number 14, which proposes a reorganization of LexHAB. So the purpose of this article is to allow the Select Board to petition the General Court for special legislation that will reorganize LexHAB as an independent nonprofit housing corporation. And this will allow LexHAB to more efficiently and effectively carry out its mission of developing, managing, and preserving affordable housing in Lexington. So just to start, I wanted to give a very brief overview of what affordable housing is and what affordable housing exists in Lexington. So affordable housing is basically any housing that is subsidized so that it is more affordable. And in general, this means that households pay 30% of their income and eligibility is limited by income level. And globally, there are different types of affordable housing, including state and federally funded public housing, as well as nonprofit housing corporations that are funded using a variety of local, private, state, federal funds, depending on the type of corporation. There's also inclusionary zoning with private developers, and that includes affordable housing as part of any new developments in certain states. And Massachusetts has this inclusionary zoning. In addition, there's also housing vouchers that are mobile and can be used to make any type of housing affordable. And the examples of these are the federally funded Section 8 and then the state funded Massachusetts Housing Voucher Program. So locally in Lexington, we have LexHAB, which is a quasi-municipal housing corporation, and is funded locally. And LexHAB has 78 units that house 212 people. Lexington also has public housing, and that's the Lexington Housing Authority. And so LHA is funded by state and federal funding predominantly for its public housing. We also have inclusionary zoning with private for-profit developers, and we also have residents who use Section 8 vouchers or the MRVP state rental voucher that I mentioned. For advocacy, we have the Housing Partnership Board. And for funding locally, we have Community Preservation Act, which is managed by the Community Preservation Committee, as well as, if it is passed, we will have the Affordable Housing Trust, and that's Article number 12. So LexHAB was founded in 1983. It was chartered as a quasi-municipal organization by the town to address the growing concern about housing affordability. And as I mentioned, LexHAB has 78 units throughout the town that house 212 people. Inventory includes 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom units. This is a mix of single family and multifamily. LexHAB has 3 part-time staff and 9 volunteer board members. I'm the new executive director. I came on in February, and I'm a social worker with over 20 years of experience in the homelessness and affordable housing sectors. So warrant article number 14 will allow LexHAB to more efficiently produce affordable housing, and it will also enable more robust funding opportunities. So as a 501c3, LexHAB could produce affordable housing more quickly, efficiently, and economically than is currently being produced. LexHAB's development costs increased significantly due to public procurement rules that went into effect in 2019. As a comparison of the cost of development, and LexHAB has developed 15 properties over the years with a total of 24 units. And the other way that LexHAB has increased its housing stock is by purchasing housing as well. So Fairview was built privately in 2017, and the cost per unit was $385,000. In comparison, Farmview, which was built with public bidding in 2019, cost $567,000 a unit. So the requirement to adhere to public bidding has really increased the cost of development significantly. And flash forward to current year 2022 and our project that we have been planning at Vine Street, estimates for that came in at $933,000 a unit. So clearly we've reached a moment here. Our Vine Street costs have confirmed that the quasi-municipal organizational status of LexHAB is just untenable. And in its current form, LexHAB's ability to continue developing affordable housing is extraordinarily challenging and very limited. So as a 501c3 organization, LexHAB would also be in a better position for fundraising and really be able to have more diversified fundraising options from individuals, foundations, as well as accessing state and federal funds because of clear tax-exempt status and clear division from the town. And this has a big impact on fundraising and donating goods. So as an independent 501c3, donations are clearly tax deductible. Currently, as a quasi-municipal organization, donations may be tax deductible. However, donors must check with their accountant to confirm. And this just adds an additional hoop for any donors. As I said, diversified funding streams for development are another asset of becoming a 501c3 organization, and funding streams would include local, state, federal, as well as private. Currently, as a quasi-municipal organization, LexHAB's affordable housing development is exclusively funded from local funds, so Community Preservation Act funds, as well as town funds. As a 501c3, there's the option to become a community development corporation and access community investment tax credit program, which is a really important incentive for donors to get with any donation over $1,000 to get a 50% of that as a tax credit. And that's a really important revenue source for many community development corporations. In addition, LexHAB would be eligible as a 501c3 for partnering with larger developers without the constraints of municipal finance, real estate, and procurement law that it faces as a quasi-municipal organization. So the path that LexHAB is recommending after considering a variety of options allows for the most seamless transition organizationally. So that includes redrafting the special act that created LexHAB to reorganize the organization as a 501c3. And the reasoning behind including the warrant article in the special fall town meeting is so that the home rule petition could be filed in the state legislature by the third week of January in 2023 in order to be considered a timely file. And this timely file, the hope is to help expedite this process as the home rule petition process can be somewhat lengthy. In addition, LexHAB will be working with the town to create a memorandum of understanding that outlines affordability, housing restrictions, and any other restrictions or details that the town and LexHAB would like to put in place to address any outstanding concerns with the transition. So it's important to note that the model for most affordable housing development corporations and affordable housing development, both locally and nationally, is a 501c3 nonprofit model that is independent from any municipality. LexHAB's current status as a quasi-municipal organization is actually an outlier among its peers. And as an example, right next door in Arlington, that Housing Corporation of Arlington, which was founded in 1986, 3 years after LexHAB, but founded as a nonprofit. And for many years, LexHAB and HCA were fairly comparable in their housing production. However, the public procurement requirements that slowed LexHAB's development and made it more expensive occurred right around the same time when HCA was able to really redouble their efforts on development, and they more than doubled their units in their 3 most recent developments between 2014 and 2021, really able to use local, state, federal, and private funding, and they're now up to 150 units. So, LexHAB's organizational status worked well for quite a while, and its production was steady, but at this point, production has come to a standstill because of the cost, and LexHAB needs to become an independent 501c3 in order to continue production. So just an outline of the draft of the special act to reorganize LexHAB. It clearly separates LexHAB from the town and transfers ownership of 78 units, of LexHAB 78 units, to LexHAB, the nonprofit organization. It stipulates that if LexHAB dissolves, properties will revert to the town or affordable housing organization of the town's choosing. The special act clearly exempts LexHAB from public bidding requirements. It maintains connections to the town for reporting. And importantly, LexHAB's mission and organizational structure remains the same. So in conclusion, I implore you to support warrant article number 14 so that LexHAB can continue its important work developing affordable housing in Lexington in this moment of a housing crisis, of continually rising housing costs that impact who is able to live in our town and enjoy all that it has to offer. So please support affordable housing. Please support warrant article number 14 and say, yes, I want affordable housing in my backyard.